Hyperfuse is kind of the first baby step in a whole new way of making shoes. It's higher precision, it's lighter weight, it's more consistent.
We started putting together some of these different materials, and we thought this was kind of a really cool idea of how these materials came together. Shane and I went on a couple different trips. We went to Beijing and Shanghai, and we were looking at Chinese basketball players.
Basketball in China is a completely different sport than what it is in the US. It's almost entirely an outdoor sport. We realized that when we watched the kids play, that they were wearing everything but basketball shoes. A lot of kids are wearing running shoes, hiking boots, and you kind of start to question why. The kids, they'll tell you what they're looking for most in a basketball shoe is great traction, great durability, and great breathability. So the thing with running shoes is it's made out of mesh, right? And so mesh is really, really comfortable, but it's also very breathable. But one of the biggest challenges was how do you actually make a mesh shoe not just durable enough for outdoor basketball play, but functional enough for the type of movements that you make during basketball. So the idea with Fuse is pretty simple. The basic concept is around creating this composite.
We started working on trying to figure out what this composite is, how the layers come together, how the materials come together. We have a great innovation team, and the new technology that we were developing in this material really lends itself well for playing outdoors and just basketball in general.
Essentially, when you take multiple materials and when the combination creates kind of a property that's greater than any individual component, that's a composite.
We have a base synthetic material, a mesh material, and a skin. So the functionality of each individual layer is the base material is for where you'd want to have containment on the foot. The mesh is the areas that holds it all together as a unibody construction, and it also enables to have windows for breathability. And the skin is the areas where we want to have some additional protection on the shoe from abrasion.
On the foot, most of the heat is built up in the midfoot, and also in the toe area for moisture. And so those areas we actually left it open as much as possible with mesh. And then on the underside, where you need structure and support and shape of the shoe, you can see that now the base layer synthetic is now flooded in those areas. And then on the top of the mesh, where you actually basically need to protect the mesh from abrasion, those areas are covered with this really thin skin material. In basketball, essentially, there's certain types of support and structure that you need in the shoe. One of them is obviously in the ankle area where all the support starts. And so that area, you can see the three materials, the skin material, the mesh material, and the base material are all built up there. In the midfoot, this is where you have the most variety in foot shape. And so you want this area to be really conforming. And at the same time, you want it to be breathable. And so that allows us to actually open up the composite material so it's mostly mesh. So that creates a really, really snug one-to-one fit. And as you go into the forefoot, there's structures built into the bottom layer of the material that actually supports your foot where you're making a cutting motion. And so, but in addition to that, it's a challenging area because you need support, but at the same time, you need a lot of flexibility and breathability. It's been engineered in a way that it provides all three of those things. And that's one of the things that you can do really well with this type of construction. Most basketball shoes are made out of leather or synthetic leather that we know is durable enough. And so with a product that is as open and lightweight and meshy as this is, we have to do a lot of work around long-term durability testing. And so we went through rounds and rounds of actually putting these products on testers in China, especially where there's a lot of risk of play. Going from a really, really structured synthetic material upper to a very soft, compliant mesh upper. People love the fit of it, people love the breathability of it. I think it forces designers to think a little bit differently about designing shoes.
We've only just scratched the surface of what we've developed with this. There's so many possibilities where we're heading with this.